Good day. Thanks for joining us here on Leadership TV. This is Inside Nigeria, program where we analyze the daily headlines on a select national newspapers. Of course, we begin today with Leadership newspaper here. The major headline here is saying Jonathan chickened out of reforming PDP new book. And also we see the picture here of Doyin Abiola 1943 to 2025. A pen of courage stops writing. Okay, Tinubu governors NPAN, NGE mourn first female editor. Former colleagues in Concord, Delia Lake are waiting for additional pay tributes. Life and times of Nigeria's media Amazon as family to bring remains home from China. Also, above that, we see corrupt politicians being given top government positions, Emir Sanusi. And also, the NCAA suspends two pilots over incidents involving K1. Still on leadership newspaper Global Competition, our students made us proud, says Yobe parents and school. Ghanaian ministers die in helicopter crash. That's on a very sad note. Bauchi local government to ban women, girls from going to farm. Also on leadership, NDIC pays 54.62 billion naira to 691,418 customers of defunct Heritage Bank. Still on leadership, police detain Shore over alleged criminal defamation. And we're still on leadership newspaper here. We get to look at our page 3, which is our stand. Our editorial, of course, it talks about malnourished children and misgovernance in states. Also, let's take a look at our back page here on Leadership newspaper. We have been blunt with Moaz Eleza. And what does he talk about? He talks about breastfeeding as shared responsibility. Let's take a quote from that write-up. It says, though the WHO and UNICEF recommend breastfeeding for at least 2 years, many Nigerian babies are weaned far too early. All right, down below we see a report on the champion from Yobe talking about the emergence of 3 teenage girls from also Yobe State as winners of the global competition over there. All right. Ghana Must Go talks about women breaking limits. Speaker Abbas hails the tigress. Well, down under that, we see a reply. It says, Natasha proves it. All right. That's woman power. Moving on from leadership newspaper, let's take a look at this day. The major headline on this day says, Shetima, we are investing in MSME to create jobs, reduce poverty, increase GDP. Also, it says designed clinics designed to take government agencies closer to people, eliminate bottlenecks in business registrations and regulations. It's a timely intervention, says Ayedatiwa, as Oyebanjo hails, or rather Oyebanji hails federal government on initiative. Still on this day newspaper, Tinubu Doyin Abiola was icon of Nigerian journalism, Amazon, soldier of democracy, declares disease was epitome of integrity, tenacity, hard work, commitment to excellence. Sanwo-Olu Abiodun Alake, NPAN, NGE, others grieve. All right, still on this day, 2 Ghanaian ministers, 6 others killed in helicopter. NUPRC publishes concession status of 243 oil blocks and says no assets abandoned. All right, let's take away from this day newspaper and take a look at the Punch. What's the Punch talking about? The major headline here says foreign investors sell off 576 billion naira Nigerian stocks in 6 months. Outflows saw an 85% year on year as economists cite Trump era policies shift towards a treasury bill. That's a business. And also WAEC under fire as results portal goes down. Well, the West Africa Examination Council is still experiencing difficulties when it comes to the 2025 just completed examination. Pension battle. Police retirees reject federal government healthcare offer. Nigeria, US advance high-level talks over visa restrictions. Also on the punch here, we see Sanwo-Olu pledges statewide infrastructure at Badagry roads unveiling. Of course, we see a picture of the governor of Lagos State at the road unveiling. Still on the punch, receivership raw. Egbe Park challenges FBN Quest takeover. And on entertainment, also Kwam Wand, the Fuji musician, pushes back as fan probes airport incident. Tinubu consoles Ghana after copter crash kills 2 ministers and 6 others. Let's move away from the Punch now and check out the Guardian newspaper. On The Guardian, it says First Lady's humanitarian donations hit 12.9 billion naira in 2 years. And then we see also a pictorial on all the contributions and donations so far by the First Lady, from women traders to education and arts to military families and widows. We have a lot from the Renewed Hope Initiative, yes, and it seems the First Lady is a very generous woman. Moving on now, Nigeria may split without restructuring before 2027, more than once. Also, Apex Court restores interim forfeiture order on assets linked to Yahaya Bello. JAM sets higher bar for under 16 candidates. We want to check that out on page 4. Also, here we see Ainde risk ban over unruly behavior at Abuja Airport. ADC, APC chieftain want Tinubu to shelf re-election, focus on governance. Rep decries non-release of immunization funds. Still on The Guardian, insurance stocks jumped 10% after Tinubu signed law to recapitalize industry. Tinubu, NPAN, NGE, NUJ, others mourn, pay tributes to late Doyin Abiola. And also 6 FMCG firms, cost of sales surge by 24% to 562 billion naira in Q2. All right, let's move away from The Guardian now and get to see let's take a look at Vanguard newspaper. Here, Vanguard newspaper says 2027 options before the North faces top choices over Tinubu, Jonathan, Atiku, Obi, Amechi. Well, the North would have to align with one of these individuals come 2027. All right, moving on. Many abandoned estates in Abuja owned by civil servants, says the EFCC. And above the masthead, we have 2027, Jonathan ready to run again, close ally confirms. Meet IBB, or rather meets IBB, consults South-South stakeholders in Port Harcourt, PDP intensifying efforts to woo him. Talking about former President Goodluck Jonathan's visit to the former military head of state, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, yesterday. A federal government urged to suspend chairman Uniport's governing council over allegations of corruption. I think I've taken that. We see a pictorial of Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, commissioning a network of roads in Badagry over there in Lagos. And still on Vanguard, Ghana Defense Environment Ministers, 6 others die in military helicopter crash. That's on a sad note. And also, West African Senior School Certificate Exam Parents Group wants papers cancelled. Okay, late Doyin Abiola to be buried in Lekki, family confirms. As Tinubu, governors, MPAN, NGE mourn. Thieves shouldn't be rewarded with ministerial appointments, says Emir Sanusi. All right, finally, on Vanguard today, federal government approves tax incentives for manufacturers using local raw materials. That's all on the Vanguard headline this morning. Let's check out another newspaper, which is the Nigerian Tribune. The major headline on the Nigerian Tribune says many abandoned estates funded by corrupt civil servants, says the EFCC vows to beam searchlights on real estate sector. Also here we get to see Tinubu, Sanwo-Olu, MPN, NG others pay tributes as Doyin Abiola dies at 82. Also, 7% seaport surcharge threatens cargo clearance at Nigerian ports. Levy North Art says the custom CG cost of vehicle will rise, motor dealers. Okay, still on Nigerian Tribune, 24,000 Nigerians declared missing since 2015, says the ICRC. Also, NCAA suspends value jet pilots over safety breach at Abuja Airport, accuses Kwam1 of breaching aviation regulations. And still on a sad note, 2 Ghanaian ministers, 6 others killed in helicopter crash. Also on Nigerian Tribune on health, it says pregnancy in sickle cell disease. What everybody needs to know, and that's by Professor Bosedi Afolabi. Okay, we're still on Nigerian Tribune. Uncertainty in APC, PDP, LP, others ahead of Anambra, Osun, Ekiti, Guba polls. All eyes on Tinubu and Labour Party banks on Peter Obi. Motorists, commuters groan over deplorable federal roads in the southwest. That's all on Nigerian Tribune. Let's take a look finally at the blueprint. The blueprint major headline here says Doyin Abiola embodied integrity, championed women empowerment, says Tinubu. Okay, we're still talking about the death of the first female publisher of the National Concord newspaper, Doyin Abiola. All right, Sanwo-Olu Alake, NGE, MPAN, others mourn. On business, INEC affirms 9 political parties for Edo by-election and Labour Party missing. NCC unveils tougher guidelines, governance guidelines for telecom sector. Ghanaian ministers, 6 others die in helicopter crash. Police can't question Anambra AG's power to discontinue criminal matter, says the NBA. Says DPP detention an affront to constitution. Ubasani calls for unified legal reform. All right, we see here also on sports, home-based Eagles must improve to avoid early exit. All right, that's all on the Blueprint newspaper and of course inside Nigeria for today. Thanks for watching. If you want to comment on any of the select newspaper we have given you today, please do well to follow us on our social media handles and of course here on YouTube. I'm Cynthia Onada. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. Thank you.